Gauteng, there's Western Cape, I see Eastern Cape. I'm not going to reopen this unless there's something fundamental. Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chair. As Gauteng Province, we move for the adoption of the declaration because we take into account that the declaration is in the context of all the resolutions taken, and therefore it should be adopted in that context. Thank you very much.
Western Cape.
Thanks, Chair. One addition. On the 8th of August, the South African Communist Party must march to the National Parliament, led by the GS and the entire Central Committee, on our decision for Comrade Zuma to step down. That's the addition.
Comrade Western Cape. Comrade Western Cape, Gauteng was saying a declaration is a summary of everything within the context of a discussion in the commissions and everywhere. But we never had this point. You can't just put a new point from nowhere. Eastern Cape? Eastern Cape?
Thank you, Comrade Chair. Just in support of the declaration, as the Eastern Cape, we will just want to make one small addition, Comrade Chair, in relation to paragraph number 5, the end of it. That paragraph is generally phrased to cover the land question. So, at the end of it, to add, I quote, and the reopening of land restitution claims, close the quote in terms of the addition, the wording. Thank you, Comrade Chair.
Why are you not seconding the whole declaration? Are you seconding?
We did. I did start with that, Comrade Chair. Thank you so much.
Waisia, you are the last.
Comrade Chair, we move without any additions. This declaration is solid and covers the general thrust of the deliberations in this 14th National Congress.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Thank you very much, comrades. We now step off from this item. Ofuneka ke nibonise ke lwamhlandla ngengoma ukuphakamisa the General Secretary to come and close the Congress. But comrades, just before that, comrade, we should have acknowledged two of our comrades who have been with us, Comrade UPG Pravin Godan and Umcebisi Jonas. They were with us. And also acknowledge one of our friends, and this is our friends in all our conferences, Comrade Patrice Mutsepe. Abanye bathi ngapha Comrade Patrice bathi awungqowa abantu lo. Comrade General Secretary, the floor is yours.
Comrades, just before the General Secretary speaks, there's an artist here who wants to present a work that he has done on our General Secretary out of his own admiration. So please allow him this special moment to hand over the portrait. He will also show it to you.
Amanda! Amanda! Ayibophe makomanisa ayibophe. Lapha siphethe iportrait kababa uBlade uZimande. Mawungathanda wathi besasemusha kodwa la sithole khona kusithombe sisithole kuso bebamnikaphile. Ngalokho ke ngizocela leli thuba elincane ngithi on behalf of Hillbrow Radio and the people in Johannesburg and Gauteng, we say to the SAPS, SACP, and the people in South Africa, asibambaneni bafowethu silwe nobugebengu, hayi ukuthi iHillbrow indlela ithatha ngayo indawo yabantu edinga ukuthandwa. Comrade Blade, this one belongs to you. Viva SACP, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva SANCO, viva! Viva the YCN Ufasimba, viva! Amanda! Thank you very much, Comrade Deputy Chair. We have now come to the end of our Congress. Perhaps let me start, Comrade. We've just received some bad news that Comrade Pumulo Maswale lost his mother last night. The chair of the ANC, Eastern Cape, a member of our Central Committee, and the Premier of Eastern Cape. I'm sure on behalf of all of you, you will allow us that on behalf of this Congress, we will send our condolences to the family. Comrades, on behalf of the Central Committee and all of you, I'm sure I would not be amiss to congratulate you on what has been a highly successful 14th Congress of our party. The South African Communist Party, otherwise known as the SACP. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate the newly elected Central Committee and also the manner in which you as delegates have worked to reach a consensus on leadership and the resolutions we have adopted. We are not against democratic expression through voting or elections, but as a party we have decided to do things differently in order to unite ourselves. You know, this Congress we've reaffirmed and further elaborated on our being a party of the working class, but that is also prepared to engage a wider range of other progressive forces as well as a range of patriotic South Africans in order to defend our democracy and our revolution. The SACP firmly anchors its medium-term strategic outlook around driving a second, more radical phase of our transition. At the heart of this must be the demonopolization of our economy. This must not be rhetoric, comrades, but must find expression through concrete struggles of the working class, supported and sometimes led by the SACP. We have now resolved on the issue of the SACP and its electoral options by building on the resolutions of the 12th and 13th Congresses of our party. At the same time, we have resolved to maintain our alliance. We emerged from the 14th Party Congress with a clear message about the alliance in its present form and deeply concerned about its future. While the alliance remains strategic, the manner in which it functions, you have said, as this Congress, is clearly outdated. The alliance's mode of operation is incapable of holding together the alliance any further. If the modus operandi of the alliance does not change, the alliance will inevitably disintegrate with serious consequences. The rise of factionalism, the increasing marginalization of consensus-seeking consultation within the alliance, is something that, coupled with other destructive tendencies, is something that is undermining the working together of our alliance. The Alliance Political Council, comrades, which we had established as part of reconfiguring the alliance, partly arising out of both our 2007 Congress as well as the Polokwane Conference of the ANC in 2007, has not been working in the manner that it should. And the situation in some instances has been worse at sub-national level. But comrades, we have also resolved that we want to go and engage our alliance partners on all our resolutions of this Congress. And we wish to declare as the SACP that we want to engage as equals, not as an extension of any of our allied formations. We also hope that all our allies are going to take the same posture, that we are an alliance of equals, not an alliance of seniors and juniors. And that we will engage honestly and frankly, determined, our approach will be determined by one and only one thing: to take our revolution forward. We must not be expected to engage as beggars, as if we are seeking imsebenzi. We say this from experience. We don't boast as the Communist Party. But it was out of our 1929 resolution that we have this alliance today. And we are still committed to it. But it will have to operate differently. The National Democratic Revolution belongs to all of us as alliance partners. But most importantly, our people as a whole. We are not an alliance for ourselves. We are an alliance for the people of this country. The revolution is too important to be left to one alliance partner alone, or to some individuals, or worse, to factions. How the revolutions must be carried out through the state, including legislation, policy, regulations, programs, and who must be deployed where, must be a collective alliance responsibility. It requires the unity and cohesion of the alliance and the involvement of all alliance components. Let us once more, Comrade Chair and Comrade Delegates, remind ourselves of who we are, perhaps by quoting our late chairperson, Comrade Yusuf Dadoo, on how he characterized the party in his introduction to our book called South African Communists Speak, which I hope will be reprinting not long from now, in 1980. And I want to quote Comrade Yusuf Dadoo. He says, "The Communist Party was always a party of militants and activists, and we never had room for passengers. Our party members have been in the thick of every people's struggle since the First World War. In the ceaseless campaigns against the past laws, the fight for higher wages and better working conditions, the fight against fascism and war, the mine workers' strikes of 1920, 1922, and 1946, the Defiance Campaign of 1952, the campaign for the Congress of the People and the adoption of the Freedom Charter, the bus boycotts, the resistance to apartheid segregation and dispossession, unquote. But if there is part of this quotation, comrades, that you must take home with you as a reliable partner on your way home, we never had room for passengers. We are reminding ourselves of this because we've entered a very complicated political period in the history of our revolution and our country. You cannot take, for instance, the kinds of decisions and resolutions we have taken at this Congress and then continue to have business as usual. We must considerably strengthen the organizational, financial, and in particular the campaigning capacity of our branches and other SACP structures. We need to remind ourselves, comrades, we must take responsibility for the resolutions we take. Can't come here, sing about state power, take a resolution, and then go and sit back and not go and fundraise for the South African Congress. As an example, every party cater a fundraiser. We've been poor for too long, and there is no reason why we should continue to be poor when we just did some rounds at this Congress and raised more than 10,000 rand. But please, Makabane, ningayithathi imali yamagutha. Asifuni izosibangela amashwa embuthweni. Don't take dirty money. Go and fundraise legitimately from the workers of our country in particular, and many other people who are sympathetic to us. Now, we must not have passengers. Let's underline that in the part. We must resolve that we must remove all passengers from positions of responsibility and leadership. All of us will have to do twice, if not thrice more than what we've been doing when we arrived here. The most important message we need to take back is that we must go out to strengthen all our structures at all levels. Most importantly, comrades, we need strong SACP and YCL branches. We cannot be able to drive a campaign to build working class hegemony in all key sites of power if we are weak. Even more important, we need to think about structures that will enable the SACP and the working class broadly to have an organizational presence in all key sites of power. Communists must be everywhere. The structures of the SACP at the present moment are principally community-based branches. We must notice that it's both a strength, but it's a weakness. For instance, how do we ensure our effective presence in crucial institutions such as universities and colleges? By way of example of the tasks ahead that we have. Please also, comrades, take the organizational renewal process seriously. We all need to work hard to finalize this process. However, the organizational review process must not just be a theoretical exercise. It must be underpinned by active campaigning and mass work on the ground by our structures. We have adopted a number of important resolutions. For instance, in fighting patriarchy, in organizing women through the areas in which they are involved, which is the school governing bodies, stokvels, burial societies, the churches, and so on. Let us also take up campaigns to clean areas in which we live. Our neighborhoods, and we won't be able to have these clean areas until the Communist Party stand up and say, let's actually have clean-up campaigns to have our areas clean. Let me move towards ending by Comrade, new first Deputy General Secretary emphasized the issue of education. I want to congratulate our second Deputy Provincial Secretary of Gauteng, Comrade Umandla Hate. Whilst we were here, he proudly sends me an SMS from Wits University saying he has actually obtained his PhD degree. We need more PhDs with Communist Party. Also, I think, comrades, it would be very bad. All of you are going home to your branches. I also have a branch, which is here, the Esther Basel branch. I recognize and congratulate you on your Red Thursdays of political education. They've got Red Thursdays. Every Thursday, I'm not discriminating. I love all the branches of the SACP. But if I don't acknowledge them, I won't be able to go back home. That's the problem. Comrades, let me take this opportunity on behalf of Congress to thank all our local and international guests and the media for attending the Congress and for the work well done. Whoever deal with the media, they know. Before you go and file, please pass your stories through us so that we check whether they are correct or not, and whether they are pitched at the right level or not. But thank you very much for being here with us. Most importantly, comrades, let me thank you as delegates. You know, our international guests always say, it's nice to come to the SACP Congress. They enjoy the debates and everything, but what they enjoy most is the singing. They always say that they enjoy the singing more. Comrades, thank you to each and every one of you. Please travel safely back home. The Communist Party and your country, they need you more than ever before. Hey, amnizwa. Ipati yasetshenziswa.
I thought the General Secretary will declare that we've come to the end of the session. He's given those powers to me. Comrades, we've come to the end of our Congress. Thank you very much. Media, we are requested to remain behind. The media, we are requested to remain behind. Another lost and found bed with a lumber.
What is important here? Tahu si apa sih Pak Amanda?